Arrachaleon.
Arrachaleon.
Arrachaleon means good afternoon. And there are some variations of this, like how you were saying that word really gets you.
Yeah, every time.
Arrachaleon. There's another way of saying, there's more than a few. I'm only really quite familiar with two. And this might be easier. Arrasti. Arrastion.
You say
How do you say
arrastion.
it?
Arrastion. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's not just that's still just afternoon. Arrastion. Kaisho. Kaisho is hello. Kaisho. Epa. Alpa. Ep. Yepa. All common greetings. Kaisho, Epa, Alpa, Ep, Epsu, Yepa.
Do they
And-
mean the same? I mean, is that from a one word? Or
Yeah, yeah, like you can see all these Eps.
Yeah.
Ep, Epa, Alpa, Ep, Yepa. Yeah, just a greeting. Arrachaleon.
I'm going to dominate that word.
Yes. there
One
will-
day.
There will come.
It will roll off my tongue.
I had to repeat it for about like 10, 15 times.
Yeah, can you say it? Arrachaleon.
No,
No, you just gotta try.
Jump
Everybody's
in.
real.
Forward
You
out
get
line.
comfortable. You have to.
What
Say
about the
it.
20-year plans?
Arrachaleon. Kaisho.
Kaisho,
Kaisho. Alpa.
Alpa,
Alpa. Sermolus.
Ongi.
Ongi.
Ongi. Ba ongi.
Ongi.
Ondo,
Etazu.
ondo nago. Ba ni ondo. Sermolus.
what's that mean?
Sermolus means how are you? And the two, it's most commonly answered with good, well, which is ondo or ongi.
Will you remind me what's the difference between the DO and the GI? I mean, what?
They're just two different suffixes. These are actually suffixes. The root is on,
Okay,
and on means good.
right.
And from on you get ondo, ongi, ona,
Okay.
onena, which is like the best, onena. But on is the root in that. And I actually have a page in the Basque grammar book explaining the differences. It's just they're just two different
Okay.
suffixes.
But it's the same. Okay.
Yeah, ondo and ongi, and it actually means like, okay, I believe it's like own. Own is good, right? Own is good in a very general sense, and it's the root of all of these other words. And just like good is good in English, ondo and ongi is better represented as well, right? And in English, it's actually more proper to say, I know we've gone over this, when somebody asks, how are you? It's more proper to say well rather than good, right? And I'm not exactly sure the whole linguistic background on that, why that is. I couldn't explain it, but that's what it is. And we slack, we all speak very, slang English, and we say good, but it's better to say well. I'm doing very well. How are you? And that's ondo and ongi. You would never say to that regard. You would never say ona. Like ona is good, right? And if somebody asks how semolus, you never say ona. Always ondo, ongi.
But can't you can also say unsha, right?
Uncha, yeah,
Okay.
uncha, but so that's,
different.
the difference is this is Batua, this is
Yeah.
all Egawale,
Got it.
and that uncha
Uh-huh.
is primarily in the north. You'll never hear anybody in Egawale say uncha,
Got it.
and they don't ask sermalus per se in Iparralde.
That's the nola sida.
That's the nola sida.
Okay.
So they say nola sida.
So if I'm being asked nola sida, then I probably want to say unsha.
You want to say uncha,
Okay.
but nola sida, ongi, and you can even say ondo. But like when I ask the Sarateas,
Yeah, they say.
nola sida, they'll say ongi.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I know Severiano will say ongi, like it will say nola sida, and he
Mhm.
says ongi, right? And I'm not exactly sure where they're from. I don't know if they're from the
They're
west
from
or the east. What did you say?
I think they're, well, the Sarateas, I think they're close to Pamplona, aren't
Yeah, so in the Farua,
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean just the dialects just changed so much where it's like, and so this Nola Sida, this is in the north, Caitlin. This is where they speak, like in Donosti and San Sebastian. This is Egowalde is the south, and Iparralde is the north. Nola Sida is a lot more conducive to how we understand how are you, because this is literally how are you. This is it's almost verbatim what it is in English, right? Nola is how, Sida is you are. This does not mean how are you. That's what it means, but ser is what? Molu is way. And this z, this suffix, is like by. It means like by means of. So it really means like by which way, or like by what way. It doesn't mean how are you, right? It doesn't translate to how are you, but that's what it's used for.
So if you say that in the north, though, are they gonna understand, or are they gonna?
Sermolus. Yeah, the thing is nowadays is, because, the whole world's so connected, like, especially with young people, most every young person throughout all of the Basque Country has been exposed to many different dialects. And like my cousin, for example, Vicente in Oses, because he hangs out with some people from the south and he works with them, he learned a lot of Batua. And so like when I was over there, like he greeted me with Sermolus. And I responded with Bisiki Uncha, which is very Iparralde. And he was like kind of, taken aback, like, oh, okay, you know some of their dialect, But even Nola Sida, like if you ask that in the south, like in Donosti, with a real Basque speaker, I mean, they're gonna understand, Any questions? I know we're all going, I told you we're gonna go real slow.
It was very gracious.
Yes,
Thank you.
yeah. I'm not gonna. I did make some tests just to see
Yeah,
where everybody
seriously.
was at.
Everyone's
no
very
tests.
happy about that over here, right?
Yeah,
Happy
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
I love Katie. Katie, you keep showing up, that's all that matters.
What?
You keep showing up, that's all that
So-
matters. You're
so
always
this
here,
is-
that's all that matters.
This is really the dialogue. It's Kaisho or Alpa, Sermonus, Ondo, Etasu. This means and you, right? So I'm gonna go one by one and do it with you guys, okay? Kaisho, the masa.
Okay, show. Etíen, Lekunberri,
Ondo, Etasu.
ongi.
Segundo. Kaisho Noel.
Kaisho, Sarmadus,
Ondo, Etasu.
Ondo,
Shono. Kaisho, Katie.
Kaisho Etienne, Sermadus,
Ondo, Etasu.
Ongi.
Segundo. Kaisho, Caitlin.
Okay, show up to you.
Sermolus.
Okay, yeah. Ondo, etasu.
Ondo. Ondo Nago.
What
And
is
so what?
I am.
So this isn't, like I said, this isn't actually asking
Yeah.
you. It's when you're speaking with somebody, it's obviously directed. It means how are you, right? But the fully extrapolated question looks like this. In its full entire form, it's like this. su sermolu salve. And this su salve, this is you are. And when this is oftentimes omitted, this is often more so omitted than included, where you'll either hear just sermolus or sermolus salve, but you still will su sermolus salve or su sermolus.
And what is Saude?
Salve is you are.
You are.
So here, let me bring out. Let's see what I got. Okay, and I don't want to trip you guys up. You see that, Caleb? Okay, so this is nor. Nor means who. Okay? And this nor is called isan. I-Z-A-N. And isan means to be. Exactly in English, to be. Okay? These are the list of these are the personal pronouns. Ni, I, bera, gu, su, suek, hayek. I, me, you, with familiarity. He, she, him, her, or it. Gu, we. Su, you. Suek, you plural. Hayek, they. Okay? These are the personal pronouns, just the same as in English. I, me, you plural, we, them. These are a little more abstract in English. We don't really have these. What these are called are called auxiliary verbs. Avitz laguntzaileak, helping verbs, auxiliary verbs. Okay. So it's ni nice. This nice contains everything for I am. That's what it means. And that's where, so this is called isan, which is to be. And that's what it's referring to, is I am, right? And that is to be, right? I am, right? I think, therefore I am, right? So ni nice, I am. This means these personal pronouns, just like in English, they just mean I, me, you, he, she, him, her, right? This nice really means I am, okay? Like ni, Etienne, nice. I am Etienne, right? Ice, you are, with much familiarity. Berala, Gugara, we are. Susara, you are. Suek sarete, you plural are. Hayek dida, they are. Right? What's really cool about this isan, and this is with every auxiliary verb in Basque, and there's many of them, is the personal pronoun is often omitted. It's not required. And what ends up happening is when it is committed, like in this sense, su sermolu salve, I'm putting the emphasis on you. And that's what it does. Like what we use in English, we use emphasis. We emphasize with our tone, with tonality, when it's to emphasize whichever part of the sentence, whichever part of the speech that you want to emphasize, right? So in a room, I walk into a room, right? And I say, who is Katie? Right? And you say, I am Katie. Right? Ni Katie Nice. Right? You wouldn't necessarily just say Katie Nice. Katie Nice is just I'm Katie. You know, like in a formal manner, like Katie Nice. I'm Katie. That's my name, right? But if somebody asks a specific like that, where there's an emphasis required, Ni Katie Nice. Who's Katie? Ni Katie Nice. I am Katie, right? And because of this omission and commission, these auxiliary verbs contain everything. And so these are not required most of the time, and it's only with intentional emphasis that these are included, right? So there's not even the auxiliary added, right? It's just sermolus. It's just how are you, right? If you want to add emphasis to you, like how are you, you can either say su sermolus, right? Or su sermolus salve. And that's like, it's just an emphasis on you. You know, how are you doing, right? This salve, you don't see it up here, do you? Right? So, okay, we're getting into it. This is
Well,
just,
that's what I was thinking. I've never seen
I can't
salve.
help myself, I know.
Okay.
I can't help myself. Okay, so this is called isan, right?
Okay.
To be, right? Ni Etíen Nice. Su Damasa Sara. Su Noel Sara. Su Katie Sara. Su Caitlin Sara, right? Isan is to be, in that sense. I am Etienne. That doesn't change. That is a concrete piece of information, right? Isan, to be. Ni Etienne Nice, right? Gardnerville Koa Nice. I am from Gardnerville, right? That can never change, right? That's a solid piece of information. This is Nor, but this is called Egon instead of Isan. Okay?
You're not alone, Caitlin, it's fine. We all feel the same way. You're doing great.
Okay? And this is what do you think this is going to be?
Sare.
Salve.
So this.
Yeah, I'm
nor
confused.
is
Yeah.
Isan, which is to be.
To be,
This nor is Egon, which is.
which is to be.
Okay, that's
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, and this is
Thanks for clarifying
this is
that.
this is
Noel.
really cool, and this is really where it's actually really straightforward. And the thing with Basque, and I know I've explained this to you guys before, it's very practical. It's not it's a new language, and so there's obstacles in coming to terms with the understanding of it, but it is not set up in confusion. It's very practical, right? Unlike in English, where we say I am Etienne, just like we say I am sick, right? There's no difference, even though you're talking about two different things. You're talking about a permanent state, which is I am Etienne, that's who I am, right? And then you're talking about a temporary state of being, which is sick, right? Two very different things, right? In Basque, and there's nothing that alludes to the fact that you're talking about two very different things. Conceptually, they couldn't be more different. I mean, a concrete state to be, right? I am Etienne. That's who I am, right? And I'm sick for 3 days. That's a temporary state of being. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm weak, I'm full, right? In Basque, they differentiate, and it makes it it's actually very practical when it comes to understanding what somebody is talking about, and in terms of expressing yourself, being able to express yourself. So nor, ni nice, ni Etienne nice, baina ni gaixorik nago. I am Etienne, but I am sick. Gaixorik nago. This is a state of being. So this is Isan, I-Z-A-N, right? And Egon. They're the same, they're to be. That's what Egon means, to be, but it's a temporary state. And also with Egon, how they initially introduce it to you, and I think we kind of got into it with in chapter 1, is how does it explain it? It explains it as location. And location actually coincides with state of being, if you think about it a little abstractly, right? Where you don't say, right, JT taberna da. The JT is a bar. It is a bar. Da. Right? That's what it is. It's not a swim center on the weekends, right? That's what it is. It's the bar, right? JT taberna la. Banya Gardner Villain Dago. Dago. It is in Gardnerville. The JT is in Gardnerville, but the JT is a bar, right? And that's how they initially introduce it. And I think it's productive in that sense, because you do just eventually have to make the leap to understand that it's also a state of being. But I don't think there's any harm in me explaining it to you like that. That it's what it means is it's a state of being, right? And it's not this concrete. Okay, obviously the fact that the JT is in Gardnerville is more than likely never going to change, right? But that's because it's a building, right? Myself, because I'm a human, I can be on the move, right? I say, yeah, orainche, Etíen nago. I'm at the JT, nago. Not Etíen nice. Etíen nago. Gero, Etíen egongo nice. Okay. Yeah. The future, okay, yeah. Okay, this is the thing where, okay, again, Basque, it's got all these very practical features. Okay, so I don't know. I don't want to get into all that.
Let's go slow.
No.
That makes sense. That's
Yeah,
helpful.
that's perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. And
Well, because you keep seeing these.
right. And see, and that's the main thing that all I'm really trying to do, and I've explained this to you guys before. It's pure exposure.
Right.
It's nothing more than that. Like I can't convey a concept to you in any term that you're going to understand it more than what you're going to be able to understand it at. But if you just keep seeing it,
Right.
it becomes this massive thing that you're so scared of, where it's like you know, oh my God, I hear him say a sentence, and I'm like, you know.
Right.
But if you keep hearing that sentence over and over and over again, you go, and then you finally figure out what those words are. You go, oh, like it's not this big scary thing, you know. I can actually decipher some of that, right? And for the most part, this is, it's really, it's not. They do use it in Iparralde, but it's just not to the same degree. In the South, this is critical. They use nor and they use isan and they use egon. In Iparralde, they don't always use egon, and it actually makes it kind of easier because you don't have this differentiation. And these all change as well. They just don't say the I's or the A's. So in Iparralde, it's not ni nice, it's ni nis. And you guys hear him say that, Sira. Right? Sira is not Sara. Right? They're the same thing, but Sara and Sira, right? Siste, Dira, Gira, Gugida, right? We are. Is. And they do use it, but it's just, you know, dialects are different. And I don't understand that.
Can I, this is probably a stupid question.
No, please.
But, you know, you're always talking about the North and the South.
Yeah.
Where, like, visually, I'm picturing in my mind, where's the South? What city is the South? What city is the North?
So what is considered to be where they draw the geographical boundary?
Yeah, like.
On the north and the south is the French border.
Okay.
So the 3 provinces that reside on the north in France is the north.
Okay.
The 4 provinces that are on the southern side, on the Spanish side, are the south.
Okay.
And then from there you get further distinctions of the west, Mendebalde, and Equialde, the west and the east. And in all honesty, the eastern Euskara, the eastern Basque, is, it probably, and I mean, okay, I guess that's not accurate to say that it is the most different, because the most different from what, right? Because, you know, they all vary, right? But in terms of spoken Euskara, and like, the thing is Batua, the unified Basque, it's mainly spoken in Gipuzkoa, the province of Gipuzkoa, which is the western southern province where Donosti, San Sebastian is, right? And there are things in Batua that did come from other dialects, but when you go to Donosti, they speak Batua. They speak what you get to learn in school, right? And it's not a fully accurate description of the entire Basque province, because you go into the east and I mean you run into Euskara that is like, it is wildly different.
Like, give me a city that's in the east, something I know.
I don't even know any.
Oh, okay.
I've never even been there.
Okay, that's helpful. I'm just trying to
Yeah,
visualize.
no, I know it. So it's like,
Okay.
so it goes like this. So like, okay, so like Bilbao.
Yeah.
Bilbao's the west, southwest. Okay, Bilbao. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have that.
Yeah. Here, can I see it? Yeah. So you got Bilbao, which is Vizcaya, and Vizcayan Euskara is very wild as well. It's very wild. And then you have Gasteiz in Araba, Iruña, Pamplona in Nafarroa, and then you've got the 3 northern provinces, Lapurdi, Nafarroa Vera, Zuberoa, right? And Zuberoa, like if you get way over there, that's the east. If you get to Zuberoa, even northern Nafarroa on the eastern side, the Euskara is like, it's wildly different. It's wildly different. But so as it is in Vizcaya. I mean, you hear like a Vizcayan speak and you're like, oh my God.
But did you? So
Right.
you learned it though? I mean.
No, not a chance. I talk with some Vizcayans and I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, so like, I'll give you an example. So like the days of the week, right? Astelena, Asteartea, Asteaskena, Osteguna, Ostirala, Larumbata, Igandea. right? Monday through Sunday, right? I'm over there in the Basque Country, and I'm hanging out with some friends of mine. They're all from Gipuzkoa. That's where I studied. That's where I stayed on the weekends. I did travel around to other towns on weekends, going to, you know, festivals, going to parties, but the majority of it, I was speaking Batua the whole time with fellow Gipuzkoans, right? Gipuzkoarrak. And I was with my friend who's from Ondarribia, which is in Gipuzkoa, and he's got a friend who's from Leketio. Leketio is in Vizcaya, right? It's like around Bilbao. And we're planning to meet up. I'm at the school, and he sends me, like, they use voice messages over there. They all record voice audio. And he starts, I mean, just talking. He's just talking. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And he sends me a text, and he's like, and I understand that maybe we can meet, right? Like, we can meet. And then he says, Sapeta Elodomeka. And I'm like, what is this? Right? Yeah, I'm like, what is that? And I text him, and I'm like, what is Sapeta and Domeka? And he's like, oh, Barkatu Lagun. Excuse me, it's Saturday and Sunday, right? And I understand Saturday and Sunday as Larumbata and Igandea. And it's Sapata, Sapeta, and Domeka. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, I mean, how different is it, right? And you can kind of hear, like, that could come from Spanish, because it's like Sábado and Domingo, right? Saturday and Sunday. And my friend from Ondarribia, they're really good friends. I mean, I only know the other kid because of the one, you know, they're like really good friends. And he's like, no. I always tell him, his name's Gaiska. And he's like, no, I always tell Gaiska, euskaraz, mechedas. Like, please speak Basque, right? Because the Basque is so, it's so different. So even where him, like, he's like, no, like, Gotti, who's a Basque teacher, like, he speaks, born and raised Basque, right? He'll be hanging out with him, like, with his other friends or with his family, and he's like, I miss, a lot of it. Like, it's very different, right? I don't know where that I was going.
Well, no, I was just curious about the border, and you're talking about the north.
Yeah. And you can notice how much smaller the northern provinces are.
Right.
They account for, you know, a vastly smaller area. And the majority of Euskara is spoken in the south. It's purely by percentages.
Okay.
The most Basque-speaking province is Gipuzkoa,
Okay.
and that may be why that their Euskara is the one that gets taught. Theirs is the one that prevails.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
It's helpful.
Sermolus gaude. Sermolus gaude. How are we? Oshondo. Eta? Sermolus gaude.
Ongi?
Ongi. Vai. Nere ustes vai. I think so as well. Wow, ongi. Wow. Okay. Let's see. You have any questions, Caitlin?
No. I was just thinking, because when Viren was here, right, she was doing like in high school,
Yeah.
and then we went and had dinner at watching Tachis, like they were speaking Basque, but it was really hard for him to understand most of the stuff she was saying.
Right. It was hard for her to understand him.
Yeah, and so then she kind of picked up on like switching some of the words so that
Right.
I could understand.
Right.
Like he said after he was like, for a second, I had no idea what she was saying.
Right. No, and it's real. I remember her telling, we've gone to, and do you know where your grandfather was from?
He was from Juksu.
Okay.
He was
I
from
don't know what province that is.
close to yours.
Okay, yeah. So up in the north.
Yeah.
Right. We've gone with our friends from Donosti to our family's town in Ibaralde to sightsee. And like they told me, because I was there, I was like trying to learn, and I remember Shimon telling me, he's like, no, Etienne, like, it's difficult for us to understand them. Like, don't feel, like it truly is. Like, we don't, of course we do, and of course, because in the greater context of a conversation or a sentence, it's your language. I mean, it's like with us, a lot of it's just colloquialisms. A lot of it's just that, different words, right? Core Basque, the structure of it doesn't change, just like English, like, where a verb goes, but a lot of different words, a lot of different phrases, maybe just intonation, maybe pronunciation, right? Even just going from Sara to Sida. I mean, that's just a difference, right? But I mean, you can get, I don't know if you've ever heard anybody from like Baltimore. I mean, it's like different English, and especially when you get somebody talking really quick, you're like, are we on the same continent? Like, these are two different languages. And that's what really encourages me. I don't get freaked out about any of that, because I just laugh at myself. I mean, I'd find myself there in the middle of a conversation, and I'm like, oh, I have no idea what they're saying to me. And I would laugh, like, and it's kind of rude or whatever, but it's like, what can I do? I mean, I'm a student. Like, I'm here learning, I'm here trying to practice, and I'm lost.
But this is the whole point of Batua, is that, right? So that, because a lot of people weren't learning it, so now it's kind of trying to make it more unified so that people are learning it. Right. Well,
what they realized was, and it's very savvy of them. I mean, it's a real effort.
Right.
I mean, what they did, they realized that if they did not come up with a version of the language that was standardized, that was just considered to be standardized, they were going to lose it. If they could not come up, and it wasn't even about, this is what's really interesting, is it wasn't about teaching it to people that are already exposed to Basque. It was about coming up with a standardized version that would be able to be taught to non-Basque speakers. And that's where it really changed. That's kind of a leap in the thinking, where it's like, because if you're around it all, like, even if you study it, and that's how it used to be historically. Like, Basque was taught in schools before Franco made it illegal, but the Basque that you would learn in that school was your town's Basque. It was hyper colloquial, right? And so even just from town to town, you would have, in the schools, they would be being taught different Euskara, right? And the whole push for Batua was like, no, it can't be like that. We're gonna lose it if it's like that. If nobody can get along, if there's not any common ground, because the dialects vary so drastically, and you get these little isolated pockets of like very different Basque, right? And sure, keep that going and still speak that, Euskara in your town, but there's got to be one that can reach, across the board. There's got to be one where we can all, dip our pool into. And like Jose Malea, the scholar from UNR, he speaks like damn near every major dialect of Euskara, and it's impressive. And it's English. I mean, he writes books in English, and he speaks Batua because of his nieces and nephews. And like he knows, and he can just do that. And then he can be with a Biscayan, and he is Biscayan, and just go speak that full, and then be with somebody from the East. And it's like, there's a lot of beauty in that. And it's not like this thing of like, oh, I don't understand you, you don't speak the Basque, I speak or whatever. And no, it's about going like, and I don't speak a lot of like Northern Basque, but I know some things. And I know even just like the thing, because they speak French, they don't speak Spanish, right? And in French, the double R's are, right? And I remember the first time I went there, when I was at the school, I was talking with my dad's cousin, and I'm like, I was saying like just whatever I could. I'm like, Sara, like I was like talking about a building, very old, Sara, and he was like, Sara, like what? And he's like, Sacha. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, yeah, I guess, But it's just like, even that little bit of a thing, it comes to the ear, and it's very odd. So I sent out in the text, a question.
Which I did not know. I went to Google and I forgot.
And this is what's really cool. I really like this feature about Servolus because in English you have to change a lot, right? You say how are you, but then you say the how stays the same, but you say how is life going in the new year, right? But in Basque, that's Servolus hanaria, how is your food? Servolus salad, how are you? Servolus aguralia, Servolus California. You know, it's you're asking how the state of something, right? How something is, right? And I remember I gave a similar sentence like this to you guys not that long ago. I said, Servolus doa visitza Gardnervillen, right? How is life going in Gardnerville? This doa, anybody have a guess what this is? Not what it means per se, but what there's two others up here, right? This is an auxiliary verb, just like nice, just like nago, right? This is another one, and this is the auxiliary verb for Juan. Yeah, for Juan.
Oh, to go.
To go, exactly, or shoulder. Juan, or Juan, right? This is, and what this really is that group of verbs. They're called synthetic verbs, but this is the auxiliary of it. So it's ni noa, su soas, bera doa, right? So it, he, she, him, her, or it, right? Anybody know what Urtarrilak is, or Urtarrilak?
New Year.
New Year, right? Urtarrilak is in the New Year, right? This end in the New Year, right? Bisitza. Servolus bisitza. Servolus doa bisitza Urtarrilak.
Ongi.
Oshondo. Bisitza is life. Life. So it's how is life going in the new year? Servolus doa bisitza Urtarrilak.
Where is it busy?
Lampetuta.
No, Petuta.
Lampetuta. Or okopatea.
Petuta.
No? Lampetuta. Lan, you know what lan means? Lan is work.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
wow.
That's right. Yep.
And this is a suffix. This petuta is, I don't know what it means, but this is this tuta, it's yeah, lan, work, right? And lampetuta is busy,
Busy.
right? Okopatea. Okopatea is an iparalde, I know that. You don't really say this in Aguade, they say
Okay.
lampetuta in the south. Lampetuta. And like, I've gone in, like when I was over there, I went into this burger joint in Donosti, and I sit down and I order a burger, and there's a kid behind the bar, and I order and I start talking, like whatever, and these two people sitting next to me were Iparralde cuada. Like he talking about me. They're like he's from Iparralde. He's from the north. The reason they said that, I got that many times, was because I pronounce the H's in words, and they do that in the north, and they don't do that in the south. And it was very interesting, like just on the fly talking to somebody. They would never think that I was from the States.
That's awesome. Good job.
Yeah, they would think I was from the north because
That's
of
awesome.
pronunciation. And they're like, he's from Iparralde. And I go, no, Nevada Cuanas. Estatu Batuta. I'm from Nevada in the States. I'm like, oh. And then the kid behind the bar was like, how do you know Euskara? And it was like, oh, I've been studying. And then I'm sitting there and he's like, he was like, wow, like, you do a really good job. And I was like, well, thank you. And then I asked him, I'm kind of sitting there waiting, and I go, Lampetu tagaw, which is it busy today? And he's like, like, fuck, you speak really good, because that's not like, I didn't learn how to say that in class. Like I learned how to say busy, lampetuta, and then just because that's how I am, like that's how I interact in English, where it's like, is it busy today,
Mm-hmm.
And just that simple thing. I know how to say today, and I know how to say busy, right? But it's like, it shows a level of understanding, where it's like, and it's very simple, like, and that's what I've expressed to you guys before, is like, you can do so much with so little, with just a few words and just a very mild understanding of the correct way to use them. You can really, express a lot, where you're gonna go, where you're coming from, what you're doing, how you feel, Yes, so lampetuta. Servolus no abisitza urtarrilak. Lampetuta. Like that, how I say that, you're like, fuck.
Right. I was like,
Come
what
on.
did you
One
say?
day we will be
Yeah.
there.
What, so should we pronounce the H's or not? Or why did
However, I do because
you? Why, yeah.
I'm an animal.
It just doesn't.
It's easy.
Is it easier?
Yeah, of course, because
Okay, then I'm gonna do it. I just wanna take the easy
yeah,
one.
because this is the thing, is I study Basque from a book.
Right.
It's very visual, it's a
Yeah.
very literate thing for me, right? And that's the majority of the practice that I get is from a book and spelling it correctly.
Okay.
And that's the really positive thing about Basque, unlike English, is it's very phonetically accurate. How it's spelt is how it sounds. There's no wasted letters. Things aren't silent minus the H.
Right.
And that's purely a dialectal thing. That's purely, they'll still spell it the same. Like, when you say nun ago, howdy.
Hello.
How are you?
Rastion.
Arrastion. You hear him?
Uh-huh.
Arrastion. This hago, you never say hago. It's ago. Nun ago, right? But like, heldubidea, which is an address, heldubidea, that's how it's spelled, Heldubidea, right? Heldubidea. But in Egual, they say eldubidea. But for me, it's like, it's
See it.
a very visual thing. I mean, I understand it written, right? And no, it doesn't matter. It's pure discretion. They will not, there's not a mark against you because there are dialects where they do pronounce it. The
Okay.
North being, the largest one of them.
Okay.
Servolos,
Ciao, eh?
Ciao. Otsa,
Etasu,
Ono,
right?
Emengalde,
Emeche,
Emeche, Ikastolan.
right?
Yeah. Questions? You have any questions? Servolus do abisitza urtarrilak.
Are you gonna answer you?
You can just say, do you remember how to say when I ask you servolus?
The ongi?
Yeah. Ongi. All I'm asking, this is just really good, again, exposure to, you can learn, you can study one thing, you can learn servolus, right? You're really comfortable with that. And then somebody will just throw a curveball at you with something like this, where it's like, it's way more words, it's all this other stuff going on, and it can really intimidate you, right? And it's not. They're asking the same thing. Like if servolus is in it, they're asking you about how something is, right? Like servolus, I always ask, like when people come from California, I go, servolus California, right? How's California? Servolus do abisitza urtarrilak, right? I'm just asking you how you are, right? But I say it in this way, how is life going in the new year, right? It's a lot more relevant. It's a lot more, because we're in the new year now, right? Yeah, no questions? Anything?
So if you were just gonna say how is life, would you just say servolus bisitsa?
Ser mo luz bisitsa. Or you can say ser mo luz doa bisitsa. How is life going? Right? But yeah, ser mo luz bisitsa. Right? And then also, so just like we have all the variations in English, how we can say how are you, or we can say like the affirmative, are you good? Right? You good? Or ser mo luz or no la sida, you can say, and it's actually said a lot more in Iparralde, this variation, no la sida to uncha sida. Right? Which is, are you good? Now this is in the north, right? Uncha is just ondo or ongi, right? Sida is sara, but it's really saude, right? Can you tell me how you would construct this same thing with the words that we know? Ondo saude, oshondo. Ondo saude. Okay. And then in Ika, right? I really do my best to practice Ika with Mabel. I always speak Ika to her. And I always say, Ondo ago. Right? Ondo ago. Ondo ago. Right? Ser mo luz ago instead of ser mo luz salve. Right? It means you are, but it's with a lot more familiarity. It's just in more intimate way. So ser mo luz ago, ondo ago. Right? Instead of saying au pasu, right? Su, au pasu, hello to you. Au pa I, right? Au pa I. Uchasira, ondo salve, ondo ago.
Is Mabel speaking Basque words?
She says bye, but she also says bye in English.
It's okay, it's still a win.
It is, no, she does, but yeah, she really, no, I mean, she's really getting a lot of words. She does say ama, she says aitechi,
Aw.
yeah, which is really cool.
Mhm.
And I was like, no, she says aitechi. And she goes, maybe will you say aitechi? Aitechi.
Aw.
It's very cute. I'm like, yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, that's very cute.
Yeah. But no, I'm always speaking Basque to her. And then like instead of like Nora Soas, that's in that first dialogue in chapter 1 or in the introductory. Nora Soas, where are you going? Right? It's Nora Oa, H-O-A, in Iga, Nora Oa. Right? And this is just a little tangent. It's just something that I find really cool. So there used to not be, I know we kind of went over that, there used to not be a suek. Suek was invented at some point after they kind of absorbed that from surrounding languages. Su used to mean you plural because E meant you singular. And it was for everybody, right? And then at some point it changed where Su became this formal addressment of you, and E became only for people of much familiarity. E, right? Something very cool about this. And it's like when like life imitates art. It's like life imitates the language, or the language is what lays the groundwork for what it is, what it means in life, right? Every other one of these, except for dago, but that's only in a go because here it's completely different, right? It's just da, right? Every one of these, beragu su suak hayek, he, him, her, it, we, you plural, and they. Structurally, they're all completely different than nice, right? Nice, ni nice, nice, right? And then it goes to da, sada, gara, sarete, and tira, right? But ice is just one letter away. It's the H, and it's not it's not even that far away. It's nice and ice, right? And so ni nice, e ice, right? Those things are so similar, right, with how they sound, right? Ni nice, e ice, and then every other one just goes completely differently. Berada, susara, gugara, suek sarete, hayek dira, right? And I think that's very cool because it's what e ice is with it's with much familiarity. It's an intimate way of addressing somebody, right? And it's in terms of the words, they're very intimate with each other. They're the ones that are the most closely. They're the most similar, nice and ice, right? And every auxiliary verb is like that with these two, right? All the other ones drastically change. If you want to make, if you learn the auxiliary verb of every synthetic verb, every auxiliary verb of nice, like ni nice, ni nago, ni noa, ni nabil, ni nator, balakit, nekien, negoen, desaket, naiteke, right? If you learn every one of those for nice, for I, me, you know all of the ones for you in Ika, because you just change the one letter, and it's either to a K or an N or an H at the beginning. So like, ni nice, e ice, ni noa, e oa, balakit, balakik, or balakin, naiteke, aiteke, nator, ator, right? And so it's very easy. All the other ones, you have to actually learn them. It's not just one letter away. Like, ni nice or ni noa susoas, satos, balakisu, saiteske, desakesu, right? They're all very different. I just find that really cool that it's that they're so close. Any questions?
What do those ones mean again? The three? that you have?
These?
Yeah.
Unchasira is are you good? Ondo salve, are you good? Ondo ago, are you good? And that's just with familiarity. Any questions?
What happened to the light class today? I just walked
really
into
did
a
that part.
hailstorm. I thought we were gonna hit a
That was
little
a 2 to
review.
3
I
hours.
thought I was gonna come in and we were all gonna be like reviewing.
We
We
should.
did that for the
Yeah.
first hour, and then we
Yeah,
just
now we're
drove
speaking.
right
Now
back
we're
in.
trying to learn Ika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like someone's
nice.
been learning some new things, because I remember before with the voice class, you were like, how to really speak Ika, and now look at you.
Oh yeah,
You've been digging in.
I just practice, yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So I do have a question,
Yeah.
and it's about Nora over here.
Yep.
And so I have ni nice,
Yep.
nice, and so now you have ni nago,
Yep.
iago, veradago. Where are you headed with all of those? I mean, I know
State of
something
being.
about
State
it.
of being.
Can
State of
somebody
being.
explain
It's
this
the
to
state of being,
Like a feeling.
But it's
I am
temporary.
so-
Temporary.
a temporary state of being. So veradago means what?
Okay, here, hold on. One of you, whichever one, do your best to explain the difference between these two to him.
This is really not
Take your
information. I
time.
knew it. Okay, so nor
Right?
will be a permanent or more concrete state of being.
And what is
ni
it?
demasa nice.
And
Right,
what is it?
that is
this is
that
a-
ain't gonna
And,
change.
right, and
Too
that is
easy.
isan.
that's his son.
Yeah. And
Right.
then nor egon is a state of being that's temporary.
Okay.
So, like, if you're sick, and I don't remember that word.
Gaishorik.
Gashorik. So
Right.
it'd be ni gashorik nago.
Yep.
Okay.
Right. Ni Etienne nice.
Very good.
Ni Etienne nice. I am Etienne.
Right.
Anya Gaishorik nago. But I am sick.
Right.
My state of
He's
being
gonna
is
take
sick.
this
I do with money.
Right.
Right? JT.
So instead of saying nice,
That's me to the
I am, you're saying I am, but It's temporary.
It's a state of being.
Nago, state of being. Nago.
JT tabernada.
That was well explained, thank you.
The
I learned
JT.
it from your son.
Yeah.
The JT is a bar. JT tabernada. Banya JT lampetuta dago. But the JT is busy. The JT is a bar.
Right,
JT
right.
tabernada, it is a bar. But lampetuta dago, it's busy. Its state of being is busy.
Okay.
Right? Also, Gardnerville in Dago. It is in Gardnerville, and so it's state of being, and it's also location. So
So this is also location, this temporary thing?
yeah, yeah, and because those things are not very far away.
Okay.
Okay, when you think about it, because
Sure.
okay, it's that's a little more abstract when you're talking about a building because a building doesn't move obviously. But the example of myself, I'm a human. I can walk around. I can move. So orainche echean nago. I'm at home. That's my state of being. I'm at home. I'm not.
Nago.
Yeah. Echean nago. Echean
No.
nice.
Nice, no,
I am not. Oh,
Very home.
yeah.
You're
what
not
is
a
that?
home, yeah.
Right.
Or-
Echean nago or Klasea nago. Atzo kalean negoen. Yesterday that's the past tense of negoen. Yeah, no. You know. I know it's getting crazy. I know. Hey, wait, I get.
And remember in our book, remember he was talking about like Klasea dago, like are you going, like are we going to class or whatever?
Right.
Klasea stores.
Yeah, no, I think he said, like, are you going to class or something? Remember in the book?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
Exactly.
I know.
That makes me feel good because most of the time is that's not remembering.
I
So
know,
thank you
I
for
know.
that. He's like Sure echea ere grossen dago es.
Right. Your home is
Or-
also in gross.
Yeah, or nun dago sure Klasea.
Yeah. Where is your class? Nundago. Yeah. Exactly. When somebody asks, "Where are you?" Nun salve. Nun salve. Nun salve. Echea nago. Kalea nago. Klashera. Yeah. Klashean nago. Right. I am. It's a state of being. It's a location. Right. We should do that.
Are we reviewing?
Yeah. Unless you want me to just keep yelling at you.
So Egon is what then again?
Egon is to be.
It's a temporary state of being.
Egon just means temporary.
State of
Egon,
being.
temporary
State of being. It's a state of being still, but it's just a temporary.
Temporary
Yeah,
state of being.
it means to be. Nor Isan means to be. Egon means to be, but a state of being. Right? But yeah, we should do some review. This chapter 1.
Does Caitlin have this?
She does. Did anybody ever finish all the exercises for chapter 1?
Didn't even start. No, I've done some.
I've done some.
Yeah.
I think that's really what I need to do though. I think that's really where the magic is, huh? Because then you learn how to say it,
What?
doing those exercises.
Oh, you got to do the exercises. You have to.
I've been doing a lot of flashcards because it's much easier than bringing all the stuff out, but I
I
think
know
maybe
it.
they do this.
No, I know. And look,
I think I gotta hear it though.
I struggle with studying
Yeah.
like anybody else. Like I don't love studying. You know, I don't. I mean, I will try to come up with anything else I can do, then pull out my shit and study it. But I make myself do it, and I always feel better after I do it.
Okay.
And doing the exercises is crucial, even if you feel like you're not necessarily understanding it. Doing them and going through the motions, writing it down, getting it wrong is the best way to learn how to do it correctly. You know, knowing what the wrong way is only leads you closer to the right way. And just at the end of this chapter 1, this exercise 13 is review. Right? For everything from chapter 1, right? There's 12 exercises in this first chapter. And by the end of the 12 exercises, you should be absolutely be able to say a slew of things like, look, what's that? What are you, an American? What are the boys? They're Americans. these are Basques and those are Americans. The children are Basques too. The house is Basque speaking. Are the villages Basque speaking? Yes, they are too. The boy and the girl are Basque speakers. Look, that's San Sebastian over there. What are you? We're students. Look here, Joseph. Look there, Xavier. What time is it now? It's 7 o'clock. What? Is it 7 o'clock? Yes, that's right. This is not Edurne, it's Itziar. Boys, girls, children, students. I'm not Arancha and Maite. How many? 12. No, 11. It is not 9 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock now. You know, in 12 exercises, you learn how to say all of that.
Yeah.
And that's not nothing. I mean, it's quite a bit.
I did up to J and then I stopped, so I'll go back.
Yeah, no, good, it's good. Okay, so we're gonna take turns.
Where are we?
Unit 1. You have it?
Okay, I'm just
You're right
making
there.
sure.
Yeah, you're right
Okay.
there.
Just keep flipping and then
Yeah,
you'll see
right?
it.
Okay.
After the conversation, there's like exercises.
Yeah.
Clearly, I maybe skipped that part.
We're not going to remember, right, Katie? We're gonna do it.
Of course not.
I'm gonna text you, you text me.
Yeah, that's right.
Does anybody remember what Igeldon is or means? Igeldon.
Where are you?
Yeah, we're
In the beginning.
Oh,
Oh, that.
Geldon is the beginning. Geldon.
Yeah. I think it's
Mountain.
the packet before this one. Igeldo is a place, right? Igeldon means what?
In front of it?
No. Igeldo. Katie has it written on her damn paper.
I just wrote it.
What's it mean?
Oh.
Igeldon. In.
In?
Igeldo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
So the Basque suffix, the letter N, when added to the end of something, a word, a place, it means in, on, or at. Right? Etxea,
Right. Etíen.
the house.
Okay.
Etxean, in the house. Right? Kalea, the street. Kalean, in the street. Right? So we're gonna just
What do we, exercise 1?
Unit 1, no, we're gonna read the dialogue first. So, this is, and so Caitlin, this is what's really good. This is what's really good. Because you have to put, this whole class is about speaking, and I know I do the most of that. But I just want to encourage, you gotta be willing to speak. This is what it's all about. Like, it's about wanting to speak. And
Think in your head, though.
yeah, and so I'm gonna
out.
read. How we're gonna do it is I'm gonna read it first, and then we'll go down the line, and you just repeat what I read. Okay, we'll do it one at a time, so it's not everybody talking over each other. Okay, so I'll start with you, Damasa.
Okay.
So just read everything that I say. Just read it after, and I'm gonna read it first, so you have a good sense of what it's
Sounds good.
at least what it should say. Okay.
What do you mean? It'll sound just like that.
Yeah. Begida, how igeldoda, hori ichashoada, etaura donostiada.
Begira hau igeldo da, hori itxasoa da, eta uri donostia da.
Taura donostiada. Oshondo. So notice how I say like how igeldoda, right? How I pronounce that H. But then with huda, I say etaura, right? Because I come off of that eta, and it requires more effort to say eta huda, right? It's a lot easier to just say etaura and omit that H, right? So it's very varying, right? It's not a concrete thing. Etaura donostiada. Noel, ser da hori. Ser, hori, antiguo da.
Ser da hori. Ser, hori, antigua da.
Oshondo.
Right.
Ura alde zarra da. Bai, horixe.
Ura alde sharida by Porsche.
Horixe, oshondo. Eta mendia. Mendia. Mendia urgul da.
Eta Mendia, Mendia.
Yeah, it's a
Say it
tough
again,
one. Urgul. Yeah. Urgul. Yeah. It fucks me up too. You have no idea. Urgul. And there's a lot of words that you'll encounter where you just go, no, I don't really say that word.
Not true. They're
Yeah.
Etíen's favorites.
No. Eta ao grosta. Ser, how? How está gross?
Eta how grosta. Ser how? SS. How está gross.
Begira or han, gross urada.
Begira or es an gros urada.
Osondo. Orain etorri, begira hemen, igodoko herria da.
Orain etorri, begira hemen, gautoko herria da.
Osondo. Hauek baserriak dira. Baita haiek ere, mendiak eta basoak.
Okay. Hayek.
Hauek
Hauek Baseri. How do you say that one?
baserriak,
Baseriak dira. Baita.
baita,
Baita. Hayek ere.
baita haiek ere, osondo.
Mendiak eta basoak.
Mendiak eta basoak.
Baserriak dira.
Hauek baserriak dira.
It's a tough one.
And that's another function right there. So like that, baita haiek ere, right? It's baita haiek ere, right? But because you come off of that baita, it's baita haiek ere, right? It flows very, very well, right? Baita haiek ere. Zer dira horiek? Baserriak? Ez dira baserriak.
Dira Horiak. Horiak. SS Dira.
Dira.
Dira. Bashariak.
Ez dira baserriak. Oso ondo. So what we got into there was really good stuff. Questioning what something is, questioning in terms of location where something is. Is this a place? No, that is this place. A few different words of mountain, forest, ocean, farms. Simple commands, come here, look here, and then, asking clarification on something. What is this? And receiving a negative, a declined response. No, those are not farmhouses, right? Es dira, right? Okay, we'll read this vocab. Alde Sara.
Alde Sara.
Alde Sara.
Alde Sara.
Saja.
Saja.
Right? Sara. Americano.
Americano.
Antiguo.
Antiguo.
Bai.
Bai.
Basheri.
Basheri.
Basho.
Basho.
Begira.
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 Donostia.
Donostia.
Ere.
Ere.
Eta.
Eta.
Etche.
Etche.
Euskaldun.
Esquadun.
Yep. And there's the variants of that. Esqualdun. Esqualdun or Euskaldun.
Euskadun.
Euskaldun. Es.
Es.
Gros.
Gros.
Ayek.
Aek.
How.
How.
Hawek.
Hawek.
Haur.
How.
Eri.
Eri.
Ori.
Ori.
Oriek.
Oriek.
Ura.
Ura.
Igeldo.
Igeldo.
Ikashle.
Ikasle.
Ichasho.
Ichasho.
Mendi.
Mendi.
Mutil.
Mutil.
Neshka.
Neshka.
Orain.
Orain.
Orlu.
Orlu.
Urgul.
Urgul.
Senbat.
Senbat.
Ser.
Ser.
Oso ondo. Some boys' names: Andoni,
Andoni,
Iñaki,
Iñaki,
Yon,
Yon,
Yosheba,
Yosheba,
Miguel,
Mikel,
Xavier.
Xavier,
Some girls' names: Aranza
Aranza,
or Arancha,
Lancha,
Edurne,
Idurne,
Itziar,
Itziar,
Carmel,
Carmel,
Maite,
Maite,
Miren.
Miren.
Proszę o. Okay, we've gone over a lot of this, correct?
Three out of four people who understand do not speak Basque.
Hamabigarren,
I did not know that. Right?
You guys remember this exercise? I think we're gonna do just fine. This is the beginnings of really utilizing the language. Because once you get past a greeting, you kind of go, okay, where do I go from here? And it starts out very basic, and it starts out like this. Simple identification, being able to say, this is whatever it is. Knowing the difference between this, that, and that over there. And Basque is entirely set up. It's specifically set up with these, their location, this, that, and that over there. Here, there, and over there. And it goes beyond this, just the simple this, that over there here. When you get into the higher stuff, the use of the O. So to say like, Kaisho Mutia, like hello boy, right? Or Kaisho Mutiyak, hello boys, right? You can say Kaisho Mutiyok with an O. And that is denoting, it actually even includes you, but it's denoting distance, and it's referring to very near. Kaisho Mutiok, like hello to you. Guasen denok plazada. Let's all go to the plaza, right? Instead of denak bastoaste, like is everybody going, not including me, right? So it's just very interesting. That's a lot higher stuff, but this idea that there's a very deliberate emphasis on distance, starting from you and working outward. And so that extrapolates just beyond this. And so that's why you know, this is like the first thing that they teach you, that there is a substantial emphasis on this, that, and that over there. Here, there, and over there. So it's not to be overlooked. Serlahau, Boligrafoala, Oshondo. How else could you say that? This is how to me, right? But what is this to you? Serlahau.
Hori.
Hori. Hori Boligrafoala. Right? So how? How, hori, hura. This da, we all know what da is, right? Means is, it is, right? Bera, da, right? He, she, him, her, or it. There is no distinction in Basque between he. Basque is a genderless language. There's no masculine, there's no feminine, and it goes even beyond that, where there's no distinction between he, him, her, or she, or it. It's all contextual. Whether when you say you're with a friend, and bera, it just means, it literally means that one, whether it's a he, she, him, her, or it, right? Serla hori. Oshondo hori mayala. And these are some vocabs that you haven't been exposed to. I'll give you, I think I have another packet of some with these basic words: chair, door, window, table.
I don't remember door.
You remember door? No?
I don't.
You? Serla hori. No?
Alkia
It
is
starts with an A.
Alki?
No.
No, Alkia is,
Oh, chair.
yep.
Um,
Serla hori.
Ate.
Atea.
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 Hori
Yeah.
atea.
Okay, now I have my
What's
vocabulary ready.
What's window?
Window. Leoa.
Leoa.
Oh, talk about that.
Is it coming back?
Is
I
it?
turned
Oh,
to my
little,
first page
yeah.
of notes.
Yeah.
Cheater.
No, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Resourceful, that's what it's called.
Absolutely. Okay, just a quick question. Were you guys studying like the past, however long we've been off?
S.
Very little.
Yes, I said it was this last week.
Okay.
Police?
That's it.
Poliki.
Poliki.
That's Gucci.
Oh.
Gucci is little.
Gucci?
Yeah,
Like,
Gucci.
it is pretty.
Gucci,
Gucci.
like is it
Polita's pretty, exactly. Gucci.
G-U-C-C-I? Gucci?
Yeah, G-U-T-X-I. Gucci.
That's her new favorite word.
Really? I can remember that?
Yeah.
Gucci.
Okay, forget it.
I got one,
Perfect.
The reason I ask is because, like I said in the text, an intentional break can be very beneficial. It allows you to step away from it. Your brain, believe it or not, your brain processes things subconsciously when you're not thinking about them, when you're not actively studying them. And I'm just curious as to, I know we're not going over necessarily review, but like in terms of like vocab, in terms of the recognition of this, is it?
I think the sound is not so scary anymore.
It's not so scary, right? It's a little more familiar, right? That edge has kind of been taken off, right? Where, yeah, and that tends to be what happens, where you take off some time studying, and then, but it's intentional. It's not like, oh, I want to be studying and I'm not. It's like, no, I'm taking a break. And when you come back to it, it's like, oh, yeah, this looks familiar. I'm not so, it's not so alien to me, right? Which is incredibly beneficial. Okay. I want you to make up okay, and you can use just like a town name, like even Gardnerville, okay? But I'm gonna ask you all the same question, but give me a word, you know, come up with one. Don't look at words. Come up with one off your head, okay? Ser da how?
Ori bibliografada.
Boligrafoa.
Right.
What do you boligrafoa? Boligrafo is pen. Okay? And so notice how I say ser da how? What is this? Right? And he responds with hori boligrafoa da, right? Because this is the denotion of proximity. This is the distance thing, right? It's accurate for me to ask ser da how, because it's this to me, right? But because you guys are over there, this is not this to you, this is that, right? What is this? That is, right? So, ser da how.
So I can use a town name?
Yeah.
Okay. Ori Gardnerville.
Oshondo, Ori Gardnerville, that is Gardnerville. Ser da how.
Ori Echeda house.
Ori Echeada,
Echeda.
Ori Echeada, that is a house, Oshondo. Or Echebat, that is a house, one house. But Echebat, in that context, same thing. Ori Echeada, it's a house. Ser da how.
Ori Mendia.
Ori Mendiada, Oshondo, it's a mountain. Ser da how.
Ori mutilda.
Ori Mutia,
Mutia.
yep, you gotta have that A.
Mutia.
Yep, that is up
Because it's
there.
one person.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's outside of just that word standalone,
Mhm.
there has to be an A on it.
Okay.
It doesn't, words really, they exist in that infinite without an A, but that it's the article, the or a, and when it's used, it's not, unless you say mutil hori, that takes that place, that's a determiner, that it takes the place of that A. You're saying that boy. You don't say mutia hori, right? Because that would be like that, the boy, right? It's that mutil hori, alki hori, mai hori, ate hori, right?
But if I put it first, then I needed the.
If you're, yeah, because those are the
Okay.
where that is, it means two different things,
Okay.
right? When you say hori mutiala, you're saying that is a boy,
Okay.
but to say that boy is mutil hori,
Okay.
right?
So, Ori mutila da.
Hori mutiala, oshondo.
And if we're not supposed to pronounce the H, I know that we are, but it would be Ori.
Hori.
Ori.
And that'll come with just like familiarity, where you, like I said, reading it, you don't want to trip yourself up. You want to make it as fluid and coherent as possible. When you read it, we pronounce H's in English. So don't be like, oh, I don't want to pronounce the H. No, read it. Just
Okay.
how hori huda, right?
Okay.
And then with time, with comfortability, you'll honestly just kind of like lose it. When it's like ori,
Okay.
you know, eta ori, orishe, you know. Okay, oshondo. And this is a really good exercise to just do in the book because you just fill in the blank. You just write how Gardnerville, hori mindinda, how boligrafola, hori mutiala, and just that repetition of, you know, filling in the blank is really important. Eri how, mindinda,
S.
es,
S.
esta mindin.
Está bien.
Serda eri how.
What is?
How Gardnerville and.
How Gardnerville.
No, Gardnerville.
Da.
Gardnerville da.
How Gardnerville da.
Da.
Place names are the only ones where they don't take on an A, right? Because it's a name, right? I'm Etienne. I'm not Etienne, right? Right?
No.
Although,
We don't wanna go there.
Keep
Although an alias,
Try calling him that when you're out wanting a drink.
Yeah.
Etienne!
Etienne!
He's gonna be like, yeah, see you next
Does
week.
he identify?
yeah. Although an alias I've come up with for myself is Etíen Lekunberri.
Lekunberri.
Lekunberri, very Basque way of,
Same
yeah, very much so. Adding that A. That A is it's a very Basque attribute. It's very Euskara, an A on it. There were pigdins. There's no what a pigdin is? Or pigdin. A pigdin is a crossover between two languages. They really only develop out of trade, when two different languages meet for trade, and because the Basque whalers came over to North America, right, to Newfoundland, to those whaling, right, they had many encounters with the Native American tribes that were on the coast, right, and over hundreds of years of doing it, they established very, profound connections with these Native Americans in trade, right? And what occurs, because there's nobody there that can translate, nobody knows either of the language, is, you eventually get along, and what eventually emerges, it's called a pigdin. And they're usually very, very small vocabulary base, maybe, at most a few hundred words, right? And there's however it got recorded, however they know these, but there's this Basque, and I can't remember the name of the tribe, but in Newfoundland, this Basque pigdin evolved, right? And what was very, what was the main thing that identified it as being this Basque pigdin was these A's, where the native tribe, they knew capitana, right? Not capitan, capitana, captain, right? And then in terms of, maybe some numbers, but that A is it's the article in Basque. It means the or A, right? It's very cool. And so you guys understood that. I know I didn't write it out. Eri au Mindenna, right? Is this town Minden?
Yes.
Yes. Eri au Gardnervilda, or Gardnervilda, right? And again, Eri how, not Eria how, right? Eri means town, right? Eria means the town or a town. And that's the article, that A, Eria. That's the article. That means a or the, right? You out of here, Katie?
Yes, thank you.
Suki.
Ara Tamion.
I can't.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Quiero verte.
But what it also acts as is a determiner, right? It's the town, or it's a town, right? How, Hori Huda, those are determiners, right? So Eri how, this town, right? Eri au Gardnervilda, right? And then esta Minden, Serda Eri au. Oh, it's not Minden? What is this town?
How Eddie Gardnerville. Yes?
How Gardnervilda.
How Gardnerville.
Or Eriau Gardnervilda. Right? It is Gardnerville, or this town is
Okay,
Gardnerville.
Eddie Gardnerville.
Eriau, yeah,
Or how Gardnerville.
right. I'll show you. Any questions? This is real, review. We've been over this. But
Yeah,
questions?
still trying to get it.
I know.
Still trying to make sense of it. But it's nice to know that when I look at how, I know that that means this, and when I look at hori, that means that.
How ori ura.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep trying to just pound those in my hand, and that gets better.
This was
It
super
does.
helpful. That one time that how, hori,
Yes.
hura, that was,
That's how
I do that
I remember.
every single
Oh yeah,
time.
and that's how you want to do it,
No,
and that's
it's
how
really good.
that's how you want to remember these, Caitlin. Is you don't want to learn these individually. You don't want to learn how this, hori that, hura that over there. What the dialogue that you want to have is how hori hura. This, that over there. And you wouldn't think that that makes that much of a difference. This, instead of saying how this, hori that, hura that over there. How hori hura, this, that over there. And it's denoting proximity, right? How, hori hura. Hemen, hor, han. How hori hura, hemen, hor, han. Here, hemen, hor, han. Here, there, over there, right? And just how hori hura, how hori hura, how hori hura. Hemen, hor, han, hemen, hor, han, hemen, hor, han.
How do you spell those ones?
Yep.
Amen.
And this is now on the third page or the fourth page of this packet. Yeah, it's all in here. I'm doing it right out here. What is Emengaude?
We are here.
We are here.
Good job.
Very good job.
Emengaude tapos tutsin nice. Ta siursureaita eriwai.
Song.
Ta serono selandiua surebu fanda churia.
You
I
gonna
mean,
sing
y'all
at
there.
you gonna sing this year?
I should, huh?
You
I gotta
should.
take some singing lessons.
Perfect.
I'm a little tone
Have a
deaf.
few drinks, you'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Everyone will cheer you on.
Yeah. Emengale. How do you say I am here?
And then now go.
Emenago. How do you say you are here?
And then Sunday.
Emensale.
South.
Emensale. Okay. You're on the phone. Okay. And then it's just like it is in English when you lose service. You there?
Taisho?
Are you there?
Or salad.
Horsale. 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 Are you there?
Or?
Horsale. Horsale. Ba emengale. Horsalete. Right? That's how we born. Horsalete. Are you guys there? Ba emengale. Sture sign. Waiting for you. Right?
I need to study.
Okay.
It took an intentional break.
I did. Now
It's
it's
all
time to
good.
get back on it.
Yeah, we all did. Okay, and then what's really cool about these is, again, Basque is very, very practical. Okay, how, this, hori, that, hura, that over there, right? How is this, right? How do you say these, the plural of this? How it. hawek. Right? And notice where this comes from. Su is you. Suek is you plural. Right? How is this? Hawek is this plural. These. Right? Hori, that. Horiek. Those. That, those. And then hura changes, but it doesn't really change. It just becomes hayek. Okay. And then anybody remember what changes from da? Da is or it is, right? But when it becomes plural, like hayek, right? Berara, it is, but hayek dira, they are. So ser, instead of ser la how, ser la. Boligrafoada. Ser dira, hawek. Boligrafoak, dira. Boligrafoak, dira. They are pens. Those are pens, right? Just like in English, right? What is this? What are those? Right? Is and are, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
But dira, D-I-R-A, right?
Dida, yeah. D-I-R-A. Dida. Da and dida. And see, and that's, I mean, that's.
Is and those, right? Basically, right?
Right, exactly. Is and are, right? Berala, it is. Hayadira, they are.
Okay.
Right?
It's like a
And,
party.
and what's actually like pretty cool about Basque is the auxiliary dida,
Hawek.
right, goes with every single one of the plurals. Right? Whether it's hawek, horiek, or hayek. Just like da goes with every one of the singulars. Right? How, this is. Hori, that is. Ura, that over there is. Right? It's really quite straightforward. Ao, ori, ura. And then or ham. Nun salete.
Ser, nun salete.
Nun salete. Salve is you, are. Salete is you, plural, are. So, nun,
Hemenche.
ma, nun salete, nun salete.
Klasea,
Klasea?
Klasea.
Yes? S.
Oh.
Okay, I'm asking you guys. I'm asking where you guys are. Where are you guys? Nun salete. You can either answer like you want to say in class. What I'm really asking is I'm denoting that it's we are. You guys are we, right?
Galde.
You can either say hemen galde, right? Nun salete, hemen galde. We are here, or klasean galde, right? Right? And okay, because it doesn't apply like with hor, right? But this might be a way for you to assist yourself in remembering. This hemen, this ends in an N, right? Hemen means here, right? To say we are here, I am here, hemen nago, hemen galde, right? Wherever it is that you are, remember, you gotta have that N. Because it means I am in class. I am, in the street. I am at home. Right? So no matter what it is, hemen gaude. Klasean gaude.
Klasea.
Kalean gaude. Right? Etxean gaude. Right? So you see what I'm trying to tell you guys with this? If you can remember hemen gaude. Right? We are here. Hemen nago. And also, Klasea, it's not Klasea nago, it's Klasean nago. Right? And this was always really straightforward to me, learning that, the N, because it's basically the same thing in English. It's in, I-N, right? I am in school. School I am in, right? That N is, it's not a P, it's not a Q, it's an N, just like it is in English, in, right? But that N means all three of them, in, on, or at, right? And it's context that determines, and because of that, I find it to be a lot easier. I mean, could you imagine being a non-English speaker, learning when to use in, on, or at?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You go, what the fuck's the difference? Okay, I'm at the lake. You never say I'm in the lake. Because it's very contextual. When somebody says, where are you? You always say, I'm at the lake, right? Or I'm at home, right? But you never say, I'm at the street. You always say, I'm in the street. I'm in the street. I'm looking for you. I'm in the parking lot, right? I'm on the bus. You never say, I'm in the bus, right? And it's those subtle things where it's like, And in Basque, none of that. Just remember to put that in, and it denotes that you are in, on, or at somewhere, right?
What's the difference between, because hor and han mean there and over there. So
Yeah.
when are you using hori hura and when are you using hor and han?
So hori hura is that,
Oh, that's right.
that over there, right?
Okay.
And hor and han is there and over there. So these are objects.
Got it. Okay.
This, that over there. These are locations. Hemen, hor, han. Here, there, over there.
Okay.
Right? Hemen gaude. Hamabigarren. We are here. This is a pen.
Okay.
Right?
And then that and over there.
Right. Hor saude, you are there. Hori mendiala, that is a mountain. Right?
Okay.
And again, remember these, just like I said, how hori hura, hemen hor han. And just with pure repetition, you will distinguish them.
Okay.
It took me a long time before it was like, I would always be like, hori,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I would just find myself going, hemen hor han. How hori hura, mendiala. I go through the whole thing, you have to, you gotta make the effort, yeah. And these last two, they become a little more ambiguous than you would think. It's not always so descript. It does denote proximity, and it is important. But the greatest, these two are like sisters. These two are sisters, right?
Mm-hmm.
That and that over there,
Mm-hmm.
right? That and that over there. No,
You're right the first time.
that over there, over there,
Okay,
right?
that's
And
that.
the first one, how, this, the men here, these are like the brothers, right? These are sisters, and this is the brother, right? They're different, right? Here will always be different, fundamentally, it will always be different than there, right? This will always fundamentally be different than that, right? But once you get beyond that initial distinction, that and then that over there,
You can use either.
yeah, it's not that big of a deal, right? And you will learn it's really denoting specificity. And but still, you'll hear es ura, you know, just on the same street, like you're looking at it, and they'll be like, no, ura beste tavernada. That's another bar. Or they'll say, hori beste tavernada. Like it gets a little ambiguous, you know, it's not so, you know, it's not so critical, I would say. Like there's a song that I played the song for you guys, the Nortashuna, like our identity, that song, the rock song. He's like talking about memories, kind of like the initial lyrics are Nire lem baushuak, amonade basherian, which are my first steps on my grandmother's farm, right? He's talking about him as a kid, right? Him as a little boy. And then he says some other things, and he says, Ura yokuwa. And he's talking about a game. Yokuwa is game, right? And he's saying that game. The reason he uses hura is because it's from his childhood, right? It's not purely physical distance. It's time, right? Which is very cool. Like, you know, that to me is very cool. Like, you know, he's talking about, he doesn't say hori yokuwa, he says ura yokuwa, which is like that game from my childhood, that game way over there, you know?
Yeah, it denotes that it was from over there.
From over there, right. You know, that over there. And so it's like, it's not just distance, it's time. Which is, I mean, we don't have that ability in English per se. You know, we don't have, unless you're explicitly distinguishing it, you know, with much explanation. Like we just do not have that. Our language does not promote that ability to, you know, with just instead of using hori, using hura, you denote something else. You know, you denote that much more difference in time or distance. You know, and like, you know, another example of that is like using, you know, like you could be talking about something in the past, like talking about a memory like that, and then using, you know, hori, and you would be denoting something that was very close, like closer to you, but in the past, you know, or yeah. So it's just, you know, they are important. They all do mean different things in terms of the present moment, in terms of talking about something right now. These two become a little more ambiguous, but then their function of denoting proximity, you know, it gains a little traction when you get further out from just the present moment, right? That all makes sense?
Well, it does. It's a little
Yeah.
hard to
No, I know.
learn that quite now. Yeah.
Yeah.
When should I throw that hura in there instead of hori?
I know.
You know? Probably not quite there yet.
Yeah. And there's another thing like I only, you know, I learned how to say it because I hear other people say it, and I found it to be like kind of funny, you know. But you'd be like talking, like you'd be in like maybe a conversation or something. Somebody'd ask you like, you know, you go through the greeting, hey, how are you? What's going on? And then like maybe there'd be like a moment of, you know, kind of like silence or whatever, where you, and then you just go, etorri, and it just means like, that's it. You know, you just say, and that. You know, like somebody's like, yeah, like what's going on? You know, how are you? And then you get down and you're just like, etorri. You know, that's it. And that, you know, and I like that. Yeah, I always find it to be etorri. And they get a kick out of it too, because that's very, you know, that's very colloquial. I mean, that's how it's spoken. You know, that's how the language is used. And when you say that, you know, they're like,
Right.
yeah, where did you learn that? You know, like, not, you know, maybe you're, like I was texting with Geiska again the other day, and I was giving him shit. I was getting at him, and he goes, "Geyegi euskaraz nusu. You've learned too much Basque." Right? Because now I'm being, you know, I'm being rude to him. I'm just like, you know, giving him hell. And that's, you know, that's Geyegi euskaraz nusu. You learned too much Basque. Yeah. Oshono.
Right.
Any questions? Galderarik. Galderik.
Can I say lots of them?
Yeah. Ashko.
Good
Gayegi.
question. Good
Gayegi.
question.
Too many.
Ashko, yeah. How do you say too many?
Gayegi.
Gayegi.
Yeah. Gayago is more.
Gayago.
And Gayegi. That eggy. Like Saregi, too old. Gayegi, too much, too many. Gujiegi, too few, too little.
Eggy.
Yeah, eggy. Yeah, kind of suffix. Oshodo.
It's great. Kashko, Etienne.
Bye.